Hi, it's Louise at Spiral Bright Insight, and this video is about the moon's nodes. Now, the nodes are a really important part of soul astrology, and the south node tends to indicate what we are bringing in with us. So that may be gifts and talents, but it can also be baggage or karmic things that our soul really wants us to work through and then release and let go so that we can move forward. The north node, which lies directly opposite, shows us where our soul wants us to really focus in order to experience the most growth, development and evolution in this lifetime. So there's a sense of where we're thinking about the south node. It can indicate energies where we've maybe got a little bit stuck. We've been unable to work through things from a kind of higher perspective, and the north node really is going to push us out of our comfort zone. It can feel quite uncomfortable because it's energies that we're not necessarily confident or familiar with, but when we do push ourselves beyond our comfort zone, that is where the growth happens. Now, it's something that I always look at in a soul astrology chart. And what is really important is that next week on the 17th of July, the nodes are going to change signs. Now, we obviously have our natal nodal placements, but collectively we are working with the nodes on an ongoing basis, and the nodes change signs every 18 months. So we've been working with the south node in Scorpio for the past 18 months, the north node in Taurus, and I did a video about that which I will link to, and how the south node in particular was interacting with the shapely attractor. But as of the 17th of July, the energies are going to shift, and we're going to be working with the south node in Libra and the north node in Aries. Now, this is the axis of relationships, with Aries being how we relate to ourselves and Libra how we relate to others. But there's also lots of other relevant themes which I'm going to talk about. So the nodes, they move in retrograde motion. So when they change signs, they come in at the 29-degree point, and they work backwards all the way around to 0. So in a way, I've talked about the anaretic crisis degree point before. That tends to happen at the end of the cycle. So when it reaches 0 degrees instead of 29, but 29 degrees is still quite significant. And that is where the nodes are going to hit next week, which incidentally is going to be squaring Pluto, which is at 29 degrees, and also conjunct Eris, which is very close in at the end degrees of Aries. So what is it that we are going to be sort of moving away from with the south node in Libra? Okay. So Libra is the air sign. It is the sign that kind of relates to harmony, to peace, to diplomacy, to balance. It's also the sign of the other and how we relate to other people in our lives. So relationships are very much coming into Libra and are part of the Libra energies. Now, when we are talking about south node energies, we tend to look at the lower vibration of that sign, because this is energy that we really have outgrown and that we need to move away from and release. And there may be karmic things, issues to be worked through that we are letting go of, but it's the lower expression of that sign. So Libra in its lower expression can indicate where things are out of balance and where there is no harmony in your life. So we are going to be faced with truths, certainly at a personal level, but also a collective level, as to where things have become out of balance and what we need to do to bring them back into balance. Libra in its lower expression can be so focused on keeping peace and harmony and going for a quiet life that there is a risk or a tendency of basically going along with what everybody else wants. And it can be a real people pleasing energy, which, you know, okay, that's nice to have a nice quiet kind of, you know, calm and peaceful life. But sometimes if you are doing too much to please other people, you are actually sacrificing your own needs and your own wishes and desires, and that is not healthy in the long run whatsoever. So if that is something that, you know, you are guilty of, it's going to become more and more apparent and louder and more obvious, because it's something that really needs to be addressed. Codependency is also another aspect or lower aspect of Libra, where there is so much focus on being in a relationship that you actually lose sight of your own identity and your own self and your own needs and wishes. And, you know, you become completely dependent on someone else, unable to stand on your own 2 feet. So again, if that is something that has, you know, been happening to you, then you're going to kind of find out, hopefully not the hard way, but you're going to be shown, you know, where this is out of alignment. And at a collective level, it's likely that we're going to see where we have been relying on other bodies, other groups of people to basically tell us how to live and you know, how to act and how to behave, etc. So again, where the other doesn't have our greatest and highest good at heart, then that is going to become more apparent, and again will be shown on what needs to be addressed and fixed to bring it back into alignment. Lower Libra can be very indecisive, can project everything onto other people. There can be a kind of like, oh, you know, it's not my fault, and not taking responsibility. So putting the blame onto other people and not standing in their own power. Always trying to compromise, even when it's not actually for the best outcome. And where relationships have outgrown themselves, basically, and where there's an imbalance of power, or, you know, any kind of imbalance, and that is going to become more obvious as well. So if you struggle, or people struggle to function on their own, then this is going to be something that we are called to look at. Now, what's interesting as well is that Libra rules justice. So if there are any areas in our lives where there is a severe miscarriage of justice, or injustice being you know, being carried out, then that is likely to be coming into the spotlight as well. So we might see a lot more things coming to light. And also contracts are ruled by Libra. So again, you know, as this is very karmic, you know, most of us on the spiritual path kind of understand that we have soul contracts, things that we've agreed to come in, to work on, to experience, and we have souls coming in to teach us and to create the opportunities to you know, basically experience soul growth through the lessons that we've agreed to take on. So if there are contracts that are sort of have been fulfilled or are outdated, no longer sort of serving the greatest and highest good, then it feels with the South Node in Libra that these contracts are going to be finalized, completed, and perhaps even sort of dissolved and broken apart, so that we can move on. So that's the Libra South Node. Now, when we're talking about the Aries North Node, this is where we need to be focusing on at a collective level in order to experience growth. And Aries is the first sign in the zodiac. It is the very sort of fresh, new beginnings type energy. So it does feel with the North Node in Aries that we're being pushed into, you know, a new way of living and a new way of being that perhaps we're completely unfamiliar with. It's fresh, it's new, it's exciting, it's a little bit scary as well, because Aries doesn't always know where it's going. It's a bit like the Fool in the tarot card, the Fool's Journey. There is a sense of having to take a risk and being quite daredevil in how you move forward, because you don't always know where you're going, but you know that you have to move forward. You know, sitting still is no longer an option. It's about taking action. Aries is a very leadership type energy. It's a pioneer. It's the adventurer. It's, you know, taking, like I said, taking things into new ways of being, into new lands, new areas of life. There's also very much a sense of courage with Aries. So we might find that we have to be a lot more courageous over the next 18 months. And certainly that would fit with, you know, new worlds, new earths, not really knowing what that looks like, but trusting that it is something that we are inviting in and we have to bring in if we are to evolve. There is also the very strong sense with Aries about the self and the identity. So, you know, this is about really trusting your own inner guidance, trusting yourself, stepping into the more authentic version of you. This could possibly, you know, give rise to the identity of the human race as a whole. You know, who are we? How do we fit into a kind of greater kind of cosmic map? And I think that might be something that we are forced to look at over the next 18 months. We're going to be called possibly to stand up for ourselves more and to really stand more in our sovereignty. And, you know, if there are rights that need to be fought for, it's not going to be easy to sit back and just watch, you know, let everyone else do it. It's going to be, you know, we all have to stand up for our rights and what is in our highest and greatest good. There is also a focus possibly on becoming more self-sufficient, and with the North Node having moved through Taurus, which is about resources, it's about the earth, it's about using the earth and what she can offer us in a much more sustainable way. So again, with this Aries energy and, you know, focusing on the self, that may continue to grow even more. So relying less on, you know, whole things that are done on a large scale and making it much more individual. So there is a possibility with Aries, because it is ruled by, or Mars is the ruling planet, and Mars is the planet of war. You know, there could be the potential for more aggression, possibly more warlike events, but that is the lower vibration of Aries. And remember, we are focusing on the higher vibration. So hopefully, you know, we can move back towards and try and balance out the Libra, the harmony and the peace that is coming through from Libra, with the more sovereign way of being through Aries, and not, you know, find everything escalates into full-on war. What's also interesting is that Aries represents the root chakra, and the root chakra is the chakra that basically, you know, keeps us grounded in our bodies in this life. And, you know, with the North Node working through the Aries energy, it's quite possible that our root chakras are going to be reprogrammed or reset. And the root chakra is what helps us feel secure and safe and grounded in this lifetime. So again, that's something that, you know, we might be experiencing. And I would have said, because this is a collective transit, that this is something that, you know, the whole of humanity is likely to experience. So it's quite an exciting, you know, real shift of energy, and it's something that we will be working with for the next 18 months. I'm not going to talk extensively in this video, but towards the end of the transit, the South Node is going to conjunct with the super galactic center at 2 degrees of Libra. So that's going to be really interesting, because that is a connection to much higher consciousness, which is hopefully going to give the node a real boost in whatever it is doing to release old karmic patterns and let go of codependency and injustice and in imbalances. So that will be interesting to see how that sort of plays out, but that'll be towards the end of the transit. And towards the beginning, we're going to have the North Node conjunct the Andromedan vertex M31, which is like a portal or stargate, and that's at 28 degrees of Aries. So again, that's taking us to a much higher level of consciousness, sort of beyond our earthly realm, beyond what we know and what we've kind of considered or believed to be true. Later on in the month, it will conjunct with another Andromedan star, Alpheratz, at 14 degrees of Aries. And we've also got Arcturus and Spica aligning with the South Node at 24 degrees of Libra. So there's a few cosmic conjunctions and activations that are going to happen during this new nodal transit and journey. So I hope that has been interesting and given you some food for thought. If you've got any comments, please do let me know. My readings are available, spiralbright.co.uk. Just have a look at my website if you'd like more information. And please like and subscribe if you haven't already done so. And thank you so much for being here and for watching my content. And I'll speak to you soon.